Hello friends, today we're going to talk about multiplying polynomials and we're going to do it using the area model. So how can you use a table? We're not going to use a table. To find the product means multiply, of x squared plus 2x minus 1 and 3x plus 4. We're going to change this to plus negative 1. Since we have our 3x plus 4, there's two terms. So I need to divide my box in half this way, and then x squared plus 2x plus negative 1 is three different terms. So we're going to divide our box into three this way. Because it's a rectangle, the top and the bottom are the same. And the two sides are the same. And now we just multiply the outside numbers to get our inside number. So 3x times x squared is 3x to the third. 3x times 2x is 6x squared. And 3x times negative 1 is negative 3x. 4 times x squared is 4x squared. 4 times 2x is 8x, and 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. So if we look at our like terms here, we can combine the 6x squared and the 4x squared. We can also combine the 8x and the negative 3x. So our final answer then in standard form, 3x to the third, 4x squared and 6x squared is 10x squared. 8x and negative 3x is 5x. And then we have our minus 4 or plus negative 4. Either one works. All right, 2x plus negative 5 times negative 3x squared plus 4x plus negative 7. So again, we have two terms in our first expression. So 2x plus negative 5. I'm going to put the plus sign up here. And again, we can do that on both sides. And then our other one has three terms. Our other expression has three terms. So I'm going to divide it three ways. Negative 3x squared plus 4x plus negative 7. I'll do the same thing on the bottom. And then we're just going to multiply. 2x times negative 3x squared. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. And then we have x to the third. 2x times 4x. 2 times 4 is 8. X times x is x squared. 2x times negative 7 is negative 14x. Now we'll do the same thing with the 5. Negative 5. Negative 5 times negative 3 is 15, and we still have the x squared. Negative 5 times 4 is negative 20, and we have x. Negative 5 times negative 7 is positive 35. So our like terms here, 15x squared and 8x squared is a like term. And then also negative 20x and negative 14x are like terms. So my final answer then, in standard form, negative 6x to the third, 8x squared and 15x squared. 8 plus 15 is 23x squared, so I use both of those. Negative 20x and negative 14x is negative 34x. And then we have our positive 35. And again, this 23x squared came from combining my x squareds, and this negative 34x came from combining my x's. This one, negative 3x squared plus 1 times 2x squared plus 3x plus negative 4. So my first expression has two terms. I'm going to divide my rectangle in half the long way. Negative 3x squared plus 1 can go on each side. And then my other expression has 3 terms. So we have 2x squared plus 3x plus negative 4. I'm going to put that on the top and bottom. And then we will multiply. Negative 3x squared times 2x squared. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. X squared times x squared is x to the 4th. We add the exponents. Negative 3x squared times 3x. Negative 3 times 3 is negative 9. X squared times x. Again, we add the exponents, so x to the 3rd. Remember, this is like x to the 1st. Negative 3x squared times negative 4. Negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12. And then we still have the x squared. Now we'll do our bottom ones. All of these are times 1. So 1 times 2x squared is 2x squared. 1 times 3x is 3x. And 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. On this one, the like terms aren't diagonal from each other like they were on our other 2 problems. But here we have 2x squared and 12x squared is our only like terms. So writing our final answer, negative 6x to the 4th plus negative 9x to the 3rd. 2x squared and 12x squared is 14x squared plus 3x plus negative 4. And I want to make sure I used all of these, and I did. So get a word problem here. The smartphone has a screen that has a width of x and a height that is 1.8 times the width. The outer dimensions of the phone are shown. Write an expression for the portion of the phone that is not occupied by the screen. So I want to know, they're asking me to find really the dimensions of this black area here, and a little bit down here, and a little bit up here. So to do that, we're going to take the outer dimensions, subtracting the inner dimensions, and that will give us the part that is not occupied by the screen. The inner dimensions they're telling us, I'm just going to draw a little rectangle here for my inner dimensions. They're saying it has a width of x, let's say a width of x, and a height of 1.8 times x. So the area of that rectangle there is just 1.8x squared. So that's my inner. The outer, they're showing you the dimensions. Looks like there's 2 terms in each. So I have 1.8x plus 3 and x plus 1. So multiplying here, we have 1.8x squared. X times 3 is 3x. 1.8x times 1 is 1.8x. And 3 times 1 is 3. So our like terms here is the 1.8x and the 3x. So the area of the whole screen, or the whole phone, would be 1.8x squared. 1.8x and 3x is 4.8x and 3. And then we need to subtract the inner. So again, what's written in blue here is the area of the whole entire phone. And what's in orange is just the area of the inner part of the phone. So now, if I subtract those two, 1.8x squared minus 1.8x squared, those two cancel each other out. So our final answer then is just 4.8x plus 3 but it's area, so we need it in square units. They're telling me here my units are centimeters, so centimeters squared. All right, one more problem here. John is placing cement tiles for a patio in a rectangle surrounding a rectangular fire pit. So we have a regular rectangle, and then we have another rectangle inside. So if you can imagine, that inner rectangle is the fire pit, the outer rectangle is the patio. The fire pit has a width of x and a length that is 4 times the width, so a length of 4x. The entire patio is 9 feet wider, so this is x plus 9, and 20 feet longer, so 4x plus 20. What is the area that he will need to buy tiles for? So again, I'm looking for this outer part. So if I take the big rectangle minus the small rectangle. Well, the small rectangle will be easy to find. 4x times x is just 4x squared. So the small rectangle is 4x squared. Let's find the big rectangle. So we have to multiply those. We have 4x plus 20 on top and bottom, and then x plus 9 on the sides. So then multiplying 4x times x is 4x squared. 20 times x is 20x. 9 times 4x is 36x. 20 times 9 is 180. We have our like terms, 36x and 20x. So if we write our final expression for the whole entire patio, it would be 4x squared. 36x and 20x is 56x plus 180. But then we're taking away 4x squared. And again, we have a negative 4x squared and a positive 4x squared. So those two will cancel each other out. And our final answer then is just 56x plus 180. And they're telling me it's in feet. And since it's area, I need feet squared. All right.